Have you ever wondered why the first $10,000 is often described as the most difficult, yet most transformative milestone in your entire financial journey? It is not just a number on a screen, it is a psychological threshold that separates those who are survive from those who are designed to thrive. Most people spend their lives chasing the next paycheck, but when you hit that five-figure mark, something fundamental shifts deep inside your subconscious mind, altering how you perceive the world and your own potential within it.
The truth is, saving $10,000 is statistically the hardest money you will ever save because you are fighting against the gravity of your old habits and the inertia of a consumer-driven society. In the beginning, every dollar feels like a sacrifice, and the progress feels painfully slow, almost invisible. But once you cross that line, you aren't just a person with savings, you become a person with capital. And that distinction is the spark that ignites the engine of long-term wealth creation.
When you have $0, your brain is trapped in a scarcity loop, constantly scanning for threats and immediate needs, which prevents you from thinking about the future. Saving that first $10,000 acts as a psychological buffer that silences the background noise of financial anxiety, allowing you to breathe for the first time in years. This mental clarity is the real shocking truth. You don't just get richer, you get smarter because your brain is no longer operating in survival mode.
This milestone also changes your relationship with risk. When you have a cushion of $10,000, a flat tire or a broken appliance is no longer a life-altering catastrophe, but a minor inconvenience. This transition from emergency to inconvenience is a massive psychological win that builds a sense of personal agency and power. You start to realize that you are in control of your life, rather than being a victim of circumstance, and this confidence begins to bleed into your career and your relationships.
By the way, if you are finding these insights valuable and want to master the psychology of wealth, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into financial freedom. Your support helps us create more content that empowers you to take charge of your future. Now, let's look at how that $10,000 starts to work for you, even when you aren't actively working for it.
Once you hit $10,000, the magic of compound interest finally becomes tangible. Even at a modest return, you start seeing dollars appear in your account that you didn't have to trade your time for. This is the birth of your money soldiers. Each dollar is a worker that goes out into the world to bring back more friends, creating a feedback loop of growth. While the first 10K is manual labor, the next 10K is assisted by the momentum you have already built, making it significantly easier to achieve.
Another shocking shift is your perception of consumption. Suddenly, that $500 gadget or designer outfit doesn't look like a reward. It looks like a setback to your growing momentum. You begin to value the freedom that money buys more than the status that spending money displays, which is the hallmark of a truly wealthy mindset. You stop trying to impress people you don't like with money you worked hard to earn, and instead, you focus on the peace of mind that comes from a growing net worth. Charlie Munger, the late billionaire investor, famously said that getting the first $100,000 is a total bitch, but $10,000 is the critical foundation for that journey. Without the discipline required to reach $10,000, you will never have the character required to maintain $100,000 or $1 million. This stage is less about the bank balance and more about the identity shift from a consumer to an owner, a transition that changes your entire life trajectory. With $10,000 in the bank, your workplace dynamics change because you are no longer a financial hostage to your employer. You have walk-away power. This doesn't mean you quit your job tomorrow, but it gives you the quiet confidence to speak up for yourself, negotiate better terms, or say no to unreasonable demands. Employers can sense when an employee is desperate, and conversely, they respect those who have the stability to walk away if the situation turns toxic. This amount of money also opens doors to asymmetric opportunities, small investments or side hustles that require a little bit of capital to start but have massive upside potential. Whether it's taking a high-level certification course, buying a small piece of equipment for a business, or investing in a down market, $10,000 provides the entry fee. Those without this capital are forced to watch from the sidelines as the best opportunities pass them by, further widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Furthermore, your social circle may begin to shift as you prioritize long-term stability over short-term thrills, which can be a lonely but necessary part of the process. You might find that your old friends who spend every cent they earn start to feel like a drag on your new ambitions, and you'll naturally gravitate toward high achievers. This shocking truth is that wealth building is often a social filter that reveals who is truly supportive of your growth and who is threatened by it. The psychological phenomenon of loss aversion also starts to work in your favor. Now that you have $10,000, you have something precious to lose, which makes you more calculated. You become less likely to fall for get-rich-quick schemes or reckless gambles because you understand exactly how many hours of work it took to stack that cash. You develop a protector's mindset, carefully vetting every financial decision to ensure that your hard-earned fortress remains standing and continues to grow. You also begin to notice the latte effect in reverse. Small, consistent habits that once felt restrictive now feel like a source of pride and discipline. Every time you choose to save rather than spend, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become, reinforcing a powerful new identity. This identity is the most valuable asset you possess, as it ensures that even if you lost everything tomorrow, you have the internal blueprint to build it all back. As you approach the end of this first major milestone, the fear of the future is replaced by a sense of excitement and curiosity about what is actually possible for your life. $10,000 is the proof of concept that your dreams are not just fantasies, but achievable goals that simply require time, patience, and a strategy. You realize that the only thing standing between you and $1 million is the repetition of the very habits that got you to your first $10,000.
However, the most shocking truth of all is that $10,000 is not the finish line. It is merely the starting blocks for a race that most people never even choose to run. It gives you the endurance to keep going when things get tough and the perspective to see through the illusions of the consumerist treadmill that traps so many others. Once you have tasted this level of security, you will never want to go back to the stress and uncertainty of having nothing.
So, if you are currently grinding through the first few $100 or $1,000, remember that the struggle you are feeling is the sound of your old life breaking away. Keep pushing, keep saving, and keep believing in the power of that first $10,000 milestone, because it is the key that unlocks the door to a life of true freedom. The road is long, but for the first time, you are actually moving in the right direction, and that is a victory worth celebrating every single day.
In conclusion, the shocking truth is that saving $10,000 changes you more than it changes your bank account, and that personal evolution is the real secret to lasting wealth. It is the bridge between wanting a better life and actually building one, and once you cross it, your financial future will never be the same again. Thank you for watching, and remember, the first $10,000 is just the beginning of your legendary story.